Africa's rich marine biodiversity provides crucial livelihood opportunities to millions of people. The 30,000 kilometers coastline is home to a wide range of ecosystems, including coral reefs and mangroves. Africa also hosts more than 1,300 key biodiversity areas, featuring upward of 140 marine and coastal Ramsar sites. However, overfishing, pollution, and biodiversity loss caused by other factors threaten these ecosystems. The BirdLife Africa Marine Conservation Program focuses on tracking seabirds to identify their flyways and important sites such as breeding and foraging sites. Working with local communities, we identify threats and pressures on land and sea and mitigate them, including bycatch reduction at sea and invasive species management on land. The data we collect also informs marine spatial planning and the identification and management of marine key biodiversity areas, even in the high seas.
Our story began with a single report against fishermen poaching of the endemic Cape Verdean shearwater for a simple bowl of shearwater broth, a delicacy enjoyed by the population of Santo Antão and other islands. Between 10 to 15,000 chicks were killed every year. And for a species that lays a single egg every year, these mortality numbers did not seem very promising for the species' future. But thanks to the presence of Biosfera in Raso Islet every year, and all the work towards the change in mentality, we can safely say that minds have been changed. The Cape Verdean shearwater classification is now being re-evaluated, and shearwater poaching is now an illegal practice nationwide. Thanks to all these efforts, we are seeing a growth in numbers, with census from Raso showing increases from 4,000 breeding pairs in 2014 to more than 8,000 pairs just last year.
Over the years, Conservation Society of Sierra Leone had realized that our marine landscape was really being degraded through the cutting of mangroves for either charcoal logging or using the mangroves to dry their fish, and for many other reasons. And we also realized that the fishermen were not catching enough fish, and this is a big complaint, in fact, even at this time, because the situation is increasing. We work with the community stakeholders, we work with national stakeholders to develop the map of Yoruba to really have clear demarcation. We also work with the stakeholders, national stakeholders, to do a management plan of that site. We work with them also to communities particularly to revise their community bylaws. But this project was only for 1 year, and at the end of it, we were able to restore 4.2 hectares of degraded land.
On s'est rendu compte qu'il y a 4 espèces qui sont menacées et qui viennent régulièrement pondre au niveau de nos côtes. Ce sont des espèces qui sont menacées parce que prisées par la population. Ce financement nous a permis de pouvoir réaliser beaucoup de sensibilisation vis-à-vis de ces communautés pour arriver à préserver et à conserver ces espèces.
Conservation activities over this period include community engagement, awareness creation and education, formation of volunteer groups, mangrove protection and restoration, and capacity building for community task force and volunteers. Sea turtles within the Ghanaian jurisdiction are wholly and legally protected, making it an offense for them to be killed anytime within the year. The society has made significant impact and successes over this period, which include protection of adult turtles and release of over 50,000 hatchlings. Recognizing this significant impact and successes, there are still major challenges that stakeholders need to put in more effort to ensure that turtles and other marine wildlife are safe within their natural environment. These include sand mining, debris, We also have to deal with poaching, which is very intense at some nesting beaches along the entire Ghanaian coast.
So we are partnering with stakeholders like the Lekki Free Zone Company and the local communities along the coastline to ensure that these sea turtles are protected. We are also integrating our annual waterbird count along the coastline as part of our marine conservation actions, which will be all-encompassing. But we're also looking forward to developing a very robust marine program that will also look at the conservation of cetaceans and other species that use our marine ecosystem.
Traveling down Africa's west coast, just off Gabon, we land in the island nation of São Tomé and Príncipe. Here, BirdLife and its partners have been working since 2019 on the process of identifying areas of high conservation value. This process has led to the proposal of 21 areas, including 6 purely coastal sites, 4 coastal forest areas, and 11 forest-only areas. The rapid progress achieved is a significant accomplishment in terms of coastal conservation. This success can be attributed to effective collaboration among community leaders and key institutions.
Os resultados conseguidos até agora, num tempo tão curto, é de fato um feito. E isso não seria possível sem a colaboração, sem parcerias, sem fortalecimento de sinergias entre as partes interessadas, o qual também é importante frisar no endosamento da proposta da iniciativa pelo governo de São Tomé e Príncipe.
Flying all the way across the continent, we check out BirdLife International's work in the eastern coast of Africa.
Around Mauritius and Rodrigues, we have a number of offshore islands. We also have some islands that are very remote from Mauritius. On quite a few of these islands, we have populations of seabirds. And we work with these seabirds, censusing them, protecting them, studying them. But on some of the birds, such as the round island petrel, we help to put geolocators on them. And this plan is now going to be important for the conservation of islands, conservation of the EEZ of Mauritius, conservation of spaces that is very important for the seabirds of the Republic of Mauritius.
We have married tourism with the conservation, that our own wardens who do the conservation are also the guides to the tourists, so they can actually take the guides and talk to them about real conservation. And we bring volunteers in not only for terrestrial work but also for marine work, and you see the results of protection and management, where a marine species like the hawksbill turtle has increased 800 times in population size since protection started. And all our seabirds are either increasing or stable. This is an incredible success story where integration of resources, of concepts, and of management really works.
We have key actions being implemented on these sites, including restoration of these key biodiversity areas, especially in the intertidal zone, working with beach management units, restoration of the mangrove ecosystem, where we have restored to at least 100 hectares of mangrove ecosystems within our coastal region, as well as supporting in planning of these sites through management planning, which guides the conservation efforts within this location, including local empowerment through looking at incentives that support communities. For example, in Mida Creek and Sabaki River mouth, we are supporting local communities in ecotourism to train them to have capacity in guiding people or guiding tourists, as well as improving infrastructure that support ecotourism ventures like boardwalk.
And we are in North Africa, another area where BirdLife is carrying out marine conservation work.
This is a collaborative approach to understand the bycatch fishing of several vulnerable taxa in the Mediterranean and testing mitigation measures. The implementation of the project involved field observation program on different fishing gears, as well as training session, awareness-raising activities, and the identification and testing of mitigation techniques.
And finally, let's take a look at our work in Southern Africa. Down at the southern end of the continent, a very different-looking creature is being looked after.
We focus on pelagic species such as albatrosses and petrels, primarily mitigating threats in bycatch and fisheries. And with our coastal seabirds, we focus on Benguela endemic species such as the African penguin, where we have various projects. In terms of the coastal seabird work we do, one of our big successes has been the establishment of a new African penguin colony at De Hoop Nature Reserve. And this is in an area that has an abundance of fish relatively, with little competition for that fish and less threats than other African penguin colonies in South Africa.
South Africa's neighbor also has a special bird it has its eye on.
Albatrosses are known for their incredible long-distance flights, grace, and beauty. However, they do face numerous threats, including habitat destruction, climate change, and bycatch in commercial fishery practices. At the NNF, we are proud to support conservation efforts to protect these magnificent creatures. Our work as the Albatross Task Force Namibia is centered around reducing bycatch and ensuring a safer future for albatrosses in our waters. In celebrating 16 years of successes, the ATF Namibia revisits memories of great work in reducing seabird mortality by at least 98% in a scientific paper published in 2021. Please do join us in honoring these incredible seabirds by spreading awareness and supporting conservation initiatives. Together we can make a difference.
Soaring above Southern Africa, we journey to the continent's largest island, Madagascar.
Mavavy-Kikondy constitue plusieurs écosystèmes, les lacs, les forêts, les zones côtières et marines. Ces derniers sont des sites à haute potentialité écologique et socio-économique, là où les activités de conservation priorisent l'implication de la communauté locale. D'abord, comme activité, nous avons réalisé la mise en place de plateformes de 7 communautés locales de base dans les zones côtières et marines pour renforcer son système de production durable. Des séances de patrouille et de contrôle avec intervention de nos agents de conservation, la brigade mixte et la répression.
It is not easy to cover so much territory even from the air, but BirdLife International and its partners are spreading their wings to make sure that seabirds across the continent are finding adequate space to build their nests and thrive. Protecting other living creatures across the marine ecosystem, both fauna and flora, adapting productive human activities, including ecotourism and agriculture, to benefit these areas, and mitigate the effects of climate change across a developing and changing Africa.